All right, guys, we're in Texas again. Pretty stoked about this, here with Tyler Williamson. And of course, he just set an all-time world record. We'll get to that, take a minute and introduce the gym again. Let's start at the gym. Let's start at right there.
I'm Tyler Williamson. My gym is Texas ATWR. We're located in Magnolia, Texas. We started this gym about 3 years ago. And it's grown into be a pretty special place. We've bred a lot of really high-level powerlifting. We just had 2 guys from our gym win state in their respected weight class as well, including myself, my client Josh, and then another one of mine, Beth. 3 all-time world record powerlifters. They're in the Masters division. And then we've had some IFBB pros formed here as well. So in this short amount of 3 years, we've done a lot of great things. And
just walking around, just sitting there, there's some big old boys here.
oh yeah.
I mean, there's some big boys here. Actually, I even saw a couple of guys look like they were in their late 50s, early 60s, and they were monsters.
Yeah, everybody seems to stay in pretty good shape. You build a place like this, more of your hardcore garage style gym, and it'll attract a certain kind of person.
Well, we've done, if you guys have been keeping up, we did a video here, month and a half, 2 months ago, something like that. Came in, we delivered a bench press, and it was part of a delivery video, and so I've got some footage already of the gym itself. This is a real dungeon gym. Mm-hmm. This is where I feel home.
You came, I remember we had that freeze. You were driving across all the snow.
All the snow, the storm.
You got here and it was pouring rain and you were trying to get the bench in without it getting too wet and stuff like that. And then today you show up and we're able to have all the doors open, how we normally
are. House full of money. It's money.
Yeah.
I don't know when you guys will see this, but it's money for us. Yeah. House is full. It's a great place. So this is a place that you can really put all the pieces together.
Yes.
I think that's something that people don't realize. It doesn't, this isn't about you. This is about the team that you put together. It takes a lot of people to be able to put everything together, to put us in a place to where we can do those things,
I always tell people this with Texas Republic is the gym was the gym before we even opened. My community of friends and all the people that I grown to love and respect in the world of powerlifting, bodybuilding, all that stuff. I had that community before we even put walls up to this gym. So it was bound to be successful before we even opened.
That's exactly the way. When we started prepping for my all time, I had about 6 people, and these were rider guys. I mean, if I needed them, they were just there. And through all of the training, all the way up to the all time, they were there with me all the way to the end, so it was pretty awesome. I mean, it was awesome just to have them there with me.
At the end of the day, I think that's what powerlifting needs, and that's what it's all about. Is you form these bonds with people that are as thick as blood, So that's what I've always gotten out of it, at least.
Oh, I'm all over the country, back and forth. It seems like, and it's like this everywhere, man. I mean, we dropped off some stuff in Massachusetts here a couple of months ago, and we were talking about this exact same thing, about how close knit it was. It was a family. What's funny about all of that, you talk to the people that they're scared to death of these dungeon gyms like this.
Some people are scared of doing something that's more than just going through the motions.
Difficult.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to do anything difficult.
Going into uncharted territory, getting out of the comfort zone. It's a scary place for a lot of your normies.
It is. It is. Actually, but it's just like business, life.
Marriage. Funny though, it's like when people do decide to take that step and do decide to, put themselves out there, put themselves in a place like this, they end up loving it and never want to go back to what they did before.
Yep, I agree. But we digress. Okay, so tell us before the all time, before the gym, what started all of this for you? What started your path down this weightlifting and then competition? What took us down that path?
I think back in high school, I competed and I did football, and I was very highly recruited for football, but I ended up finding a passion for track and field. Ended up taking an offer scholarship at UTSA, where I achieved All-American status as a long jumper. And long jump's very highly specific technical event. You're trying to get every bit of the board to maximize your distance and stuff. So, I've been on the big stage. I've been to Eugene, I've been to Albuquerque, I've been to New York, and all the big meets, the Division I meets. So I've always been an athlete, always liked to compete at a very high level. And after that, I took up coaching once I got my degree in kinesiology, and decided to work with athletes for a couple of years. And after that, I thought that I was into, I wanted to try bodybuilding. I was always a lean guy. I was, had a pretty good looking physique and stuff like that. And, I went and did, did a few competitions. I think I did about 3 or 4 years of competitive bodybuilding. And I just didn't really see that being something I wanted to do long term. I didn't like, being hangry all the time. I'm not good with being hungry, I'll be honest. I'm not the most pleasant person being hungry. My temper gets very short.
Ask my kids.
Yeah. So I remember my last show I did was like the Legal Brother Classic. I got up there and I was looking around. I was like, yeah, I look better than these guys, but I know for sure I'm stronger than them. So I was like, all right, well, I think I'm gonna try to do a strength sport after this. So actually, my first strength sport I did was a strongman contest. It was Houston Strongest. Went out there and won that.
That's fun.
Right? It was fun. It was fun. And then I was like, man, these are fun and all, but I really like squatting. I like doing squats. I'm all strong, So I entered my first meet, and it was bend the bar. Bend the bar, I remember very clearly. This was back when bend the bar was like 160 or 180 lifter meet. But it was the biggest meet in Texas every year. It was at the Klein Convention Center. First meet out, I broke the state record squat, and only came second to Blake LaHue as far as overall, as far as best lifter.
Yeah.
And Blake's one of the best to ever do it for dots. He's like top 3 dots or top 4 dots or whatever. So I was like, you know what, this is a sport for me. And then, I did a few more contests. Every contest, I rose that total just a little bit more, and then I remember I got an invite for I think it's IPL, the one that's associated with the USDA. I did the IPL and broke the world record. Their IPL world record was like a 7:34 or something like that, right? And then after that, I think I went out and I squatted, I think it was 771 or something like that. It was my last meet before I had to start building Texas Republic. And then once I started building Texas Republic, I didn't really have the energy or the time to really train. So it was like 2 years I had to take off. So I took 2 years off. And then I did
but you were still training this time.
I still trained, but I wasn't in a position where I could be a competitive powerlifter. Because if I'm going to step on the platform, I want to be at my best.
Well, let me ask you a question right there. Were you just kind of going through some motions to stay active, or were you working on shoulders, and were you working on the things that you suck at?
I still did all my main stuff. The problem was that like first year of business here, we didn't have AC. And Texas summers, it's pretty rough. So I'd wake up early and I'd be training people up until about noon. Afternoon is when I would start training. So I'm training at 1 o'clock, middle of the Texas summer, hot. And it just wasn't like the best conditions.
Yeah.
Having 6, 7 personal training sessions and then trying to train in that heat afterwards just wasn't good. So 2 years, I took off, finally got AC, we got our business where we wanted it, got all the equipment we need, and I've got everything where I need it. So we did our first meet here, was an XPC meet, and I was like, all right, well, this is when I'm gonna return back to the platform. So returned back to the platform, and I think I squatted like 780 something, right? And then that qualified me for a few bigger meets. So I think I totaled like 1970 something, right? Almost 2K. And that qualified me based on dots for a bigger meet, and that's when I entered into the power surge. So we flew up to Chicago, me and my friends, and then that's where I totaled 2K. I squatted 804, I benched 490, and then I deadlifted 705.
That's an incredible accomplishment.
6 months later, you know, we planned this SPF meet. I was like, all right, I got some of my friends at Southside, they compete in SPF. I really want to compete with them, have a good time at my own gym. You know, I got all the best equipment here for it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I got some great powerlifting equipment, arguably better than any of these pro meets, because I've been to them.
Yeah.
So anyways, we planned this, and sure enough, had a really great turnout, and went ahead 6 months later, went from 2K even to 2105. Squatted 854, benched 496, and then deadlifted 755.
That's incredible.
So in 6 months, put on.
And you weighed in at 220, right?
I weighed, I think the day before I weighed 215. Yeah.
It was real.
So my dots was around like 594.
That's incredible.
Number 4 in history with that, number 4 in history with total.
I mean, that's better than my single ply. That hurts my feelings.
The single ply one.
It's
Different.
it's so technical. Oh, that's what I like about it. It covers up my injuries and allows me to, or it allowed me to lift at a really high level.
Yeah.
And still be really technical. I guess technical is the right word. Because it was difficult. You screw up one little thing and everything goes south.
As
Bad.
long as people are happy with lifting, that's all I've ever cared about. I mean, you know, breaking that record and getting the total was great and all, but I always look around, even during that meeting, and my favorite part of it is seeing people get hooked on powerlifting for the first time. I have a lot of first-time lifters, and seeing them get the satisfaction of, you know, 12 plus weeks of tapering towards that meet and getting ready, and then peaking it right on point, being at their strongest on that particular day, all the energy that comes with it, it's the best thing in the world.
Oh, it's fun. I've gotten more enjoyment by far watching other people succeed than I ever did at the few things that I did that were right.
There's nothing like seeing someone experience powerlifting for the first time, when it's done right, when they got good coach's guidance and they get to experience it the right way. There's nothing like it.
What took you to the point where you really said, okay, I can get that all the time?
So my final 7 weeks of prep, you know, typically I run an undulating schedule. So if I have a heavy squat 1 week, and my deadlift will be down. If I have a heavy deadlift, my squat will.
That's right.
Yeah, it goes back and forth. But the last 7 weeks of prep, I squatted 800 minimum every week. So it went to say that it went to go to, my body was just used to 800 as an opener. So when I got to that point, I knew that I was capable of going 800 right to 850-ish. I never touched 850 before. The heaviest I went in my prep was 848 and fatigued. You know, I remember on that particular day I was very fatigued going into the session, but I still managed to lift it. It wasn't like the best of standards, it wasn't how I wanted it to do, but it was a fatigued single. So I knew the day of, being fresh, that it was very possibly there. And all I knew is that I would take a stab at it if I felt good with my opener. 804 felt weightless on my back. The speed was faster than an opener. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna roll the dice. You know, I got spotters. If I fail, they'll catch me.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And I knew the spotters. That's the other thing. When I know it's at my meet, I know my spotters are.
Oh,
You know, because you go to, I've seen it. I've seen powerlifting careers ended
absolutely.
from them picking last minute spotters. And this is at big meets too.
Oh, yeah, big things. Big
So-
things. And there's 15, 16-year-old kids that they're spotlighting.
Yeah.
But it's not saying that they can't do it, but
You know, I'll take you through kind of how that went down. I say I was 2 for 2, but it's a little different than that. So I opened up 804, And then I walked up, and I guess the settings weren't right. I had my settings too high, or something like that. When I unwrapped it, the J cup kind of clipped the bar and threw me forward on my second attempt. So I wrapped it before even attempting to squat. They were like, yeah, you got 30 seconds or so. You got 30 seconds, a minute, whatever they said. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna scratch. So I scratched, gave myself an extra 8, 10 minutes, whatever it took to get through the flight. And that's why I tell people, like, if you're going for big weights, take it on a second. Because things like that happen. I'll open a little higher, but I'm gonna take a big swing at that second because something could happen.
It's exactly what I did, exactly what happened.
And then came back, I got everything perfect, lined it up, and I knew it was there as soon as I unwrapped it.
That's awesome. Let me interject something here for you guys. If you guys have listened to me before, especially in a rules meeting, you've heard me talk about that very thing. If something doesn't feel right, the difference between somebody that's just getting started and a pro, that's it. When it doesn't feel right, okay, let's just wait a second. Let's re-rack, let's start again, or in your case, let's scratch. I'll come back and do big weight next time. And, that shows me that you were really ready mentally.
Yes.
And the body, people laugh at me, but this is the easy part. That's the hard part.
Powerlifting is very mental.
Very mental. It's a lot like fighting. It's a mental, if you can think through the lift, in the motion of the lift, it changes everything. Yep. But young people are so, I've seen them stand up and they'll be like this, because they're not centered. They'll just go on into it. Whatever, man, let's go. It drives me crazy. But
yep.
I can't say nothing. I just gotta hold my hand up and keep going. Anyway, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So we, got through squats. Had to kind of calm myself down. Just, I think the big problem that a lot of young lifters, they'll get this like big adrenaline dump, and then the rest of the meet they're kind of like,
Yeah.
So you get your headphones back on, calm your heart rate, slow your breathing down, and just stay calm. So I knew going to the bench, all I needed to get to put myself in a position where I can pull off a deadlift that I know I've done in prep was I needed that 496.
I could have benched 500.
I benched it a few times already, but I know I just needed 496. Took it. I stood up from the bench, got a little lightheaded. I was like, all right, I need to go eat something real quick. So I went ahead and scratched my third on bench.
Yeah, but that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Especially after a all-time world record squat. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't have my Uncrustables and all that stuff. And what's funny is, when I went to Power Surge, I opened up really light. I was having some, Power Surge was a rough prep for me. I was having some sciatic issues and things like that. I came in really well peaked on it, but I opened up really light at Power Surge. I think it was like a 650 opener, and then my second was a 705. 705 would basically secure me for a 2K total. This was back 6 months ago. I went and attempted 705, smoked it, got to the top, lost consciousness. Had a little blood pressure issue, I guess, at that moment in time. So I had to come back on the third and hit that 705 to secure it. Smoked it, I was ready to hit a 750-ish pull that day. So what was cool was this last meet, I was able to open at 705, smoke it, and then go right to my second at 755 and secure the 2100. So on most of my meets as of late, I've secured my goal on the second attempt.
It's crazy. That's crazy, especially to be 215 or, you were probably 225 by the time.
227 was the best I recomped to after
That's incredible, still though.
What's funny is the day before, I was eating sushi. I was getting some all-you-can-eat sushi.
That's my go-to.
And I get a call from one of our front desk people, and they're like, "Hey, Tyler, I don't need to be calling you the day before the meet, but someone busted a pipe in the bathroom."
Are you down here fixing pipes?
Yeah, I was over here in spring, rushing back over here to the north side of the Woodlands over here, and sure enough, there's water everywhere. And I'm like, all right, I've got to shut the main off and all this other stuff. And we ended up getting it fixed, but I could have probably recomped to 230 if I hadn't had to deal with that plumbing issue.
See, I thought I knew the whole story. I thought I knew the whole story, but yeah, I hadn't heard that.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
always,
cute.
you own a gym, it's always something.
Oh,
And it's like people are like, well, why don't you want to, go travel, or why did you go travel for this meet? It's like, because of this shit right here. You leave, or you got something going on. There's always something that happens at the gym. So I got this phobia. Like even when I was in Chicago, our like 24-hour access was like not working right. Luckily, my wife handled it. But it's like that's always my fear. I go and travel somewhere. I go, I'm never truly disconnected from work. It's always something.
Brittany Pemberton, the girl that runs my gym, she's come to the point now to where she just deals with it. And she tells me about it sometimes after the fact. Oh yeah, oh, by the way, I did this, and this. So.
It's like, thanks for not bothering me.
Yeah, well, she knows how much we run.
Yeah.
It's kind of like today, we were talking before that, today's been one of those insane days, but still, they just cover stuff.
Well, if you're in the business of working with people,
Yeah.
people always got issues. People always got problems, and businesses always got problems.
I promise you. But no matter which one of my businesses that I'm talking about,
Yeah.
there's always an issue. Invictus Powerlifting had an issue today.
Mm-hmm.
Actually the gym had an issue today too, so everybody's had issues today, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, since we've already talked, so I kind of know this, but I know you're getting ready to make a jump to 242.
Yeah.
What are you envisioning besides that? What are you hoping that, where are you going?
So, with the squat I recently did, there's people that, brought up some controversy with it. They thought maybe it wasn't depth or whatever. It's like, I had 3 USPA judges, highly certified. One of them's a national judge. I had an IPF judge there too, all called the lift good from their vantage point, which was right by the hip crease angle.
Well, I'll interject there too. I'm a head judge, and I hate to say this, but I think that I see more squats in a year's time than any judge anywhere in the United States. I mean, last year we did 21 meets, we're 21, 22 this year, and I know what it looks like from the front. I will call depth from the front. And the video that I saw, there was not any question that as a head judge, I would have hit that, and it's from up here. It's not from right here. And I would have immediately called that as a white and let my 2 side judges take care of that.
Yeah.
So I don't really think that there was much, controversy. A couple of guys that I saw that said something.
Yeah, they all squat under 500 pounds. So they're really, it's
Yeah.
hard for them to really have much of a valuable viewpoint on it. But anyways, besides that,
Originally it was like, I kind of want to enter some on a pro stage again so I can prove myself again, even though I don't need to. And then, up the ante of the record I just set. And I got to thinking, I was like, I've been powerlifting now for about 6-7 years. And I've never went past the 100 kg class. I've always had to do something near, peak week to make sure I stay under that weight class. And I was like, well, what if I just keep eating, What if I really make a push with my food that I've never made before? I just eat and exist. Like, I don't really diet right now.
I was going to go there in a little bit. Now, don't go there yet. Don't go there yet.
yeah.
So, as you're jumping to 242, I know me just maintaining, a 215 to 220. When I was competing, it was, it depended on where I was at in the cycle. It was 6 to 8 meals a day, religious. Every 3 hours, click, 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 click. And it was horrible.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun.
Do you
My body
know-
likes to stay around that 220 mark, but I'm about to be pushing up my food. I got one of my good friends, Ian, who's going to be handling my nutrition, and I got Kyle, who's my new coach. I've been self-coached the last 6-7 years.
Yeah,
I got someone handling that now, so the stress of all of it should be lower.
Oh, that's good.
And anyways, I'm already up to about 230 from the meet. So I got probably another 15 pounds to go before
Yeah,
I
at least. Yeah.
15 or so. And
It'd be nice if you could get to walking at about 245 to 250.
yes, I'm thinking 245 to 250. I don't know what what that's gonna look like. It's gonna be in a different wardrobe, I think, but.
Oh, no, I promise you.
Yeah.
Don't throw this stuff away. You'll need it later. You'll be back. You'll be back. That's it. And I mean, if it was like it was with me, even just being up there, I tried to walk at about 2:30, which is a monster for me, and everything about it. So
I just think the way that 854 felt on my back and how it moved and everything, I definitely had another 20 pounds in the tank. The current world record for the 242 is 870.
see, and I think you're all over 900. I think you're closer to 900 than even you realize.
I think 881 to 900 is that's kind of the range for the 242 class.
Well, I hadn't thought about this question, but let me ask you, what do you think it would take to get you to a grand?
Wraps. I'll take wraps.
Is that a consideration?
Maybe. I haven't touched wraps since high school.
See, that seems like a safe way for somebody your size to overload.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not.
haven't messed with it, to be honest with you. I think the sleeves now are pretty good. The sleeves are great now.
Yeah, they're incredible.
So I would be interested to know. I mean, Kyle, I talked to Kyle. I said, you'd be a really good candidate for wraps because my upper back and core are really strong.
Yeah.
So I don't break positioning. You can see it in all my squats. Like I don't ever really lose positioning.
See, and that's what's imperative with
Yeah.
reps. That's number one. Positioning, core strength, upper mid back. Right there.
Maybe one day that might be the next step. I'm gonna try this next goal of mine. Try to push close to 900 in sleeve at a new weight class. And then based on that, I'll kind of figure out where to go.
See what happens.
Yeah. So
No, that's killing. That's killing.
I'd love to deadlift 800 too. 'Cause I know that I'm capable of an 800-pound deadlift.
I want to deadlift. I would have given my all-time squat away to have pulled 7. I just saw it. That's my favorite lift.
For 2 years, I stuck with sumo. And it was actually during the power surge prep 6 months ago where I started getting bad sciatic issues. Piriformis kept getting strained. And I had to just say, you know what, I'm gonna have to switch back to conventional. And that's why I was so conservative with the deadlift that prep. But ever since then, I've been pushing that conventional, and it's been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's only been complementing my other 2 lifts, whereas sumo was taken away from them.
I was going to ask, do you ever go back to sumo just in a training situation?
No, because the conventional feels so good. I don't ever get any issues with it. I don't ever have one issue with conventional.
See, for me, it was the other. I would go back and forth in training, but I would go conventional in early training, just trying to strengthen that part of my body. But then when things would get heavy, I would go back to
It's never been a posterior chain strength issue for me. The sumo was all about, I kept having that, those small external rotator muscles and my glute. We're always getting pissed off about it. So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just had to give it up. I said, I don't mind sacrificing a few pounds temporarily.
to stay healthy.
Yeah, because I know that it's going to help my squat and my bench because that posterior chain is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger the more time I put into it. Sure enough, I think if I were pushed to a 3rd attempt this last meet, I would have had about 770 more.
I think you're
So
probably.
that's probably going to be like what I look at for a 2nd attempt in the next meet.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, since you're not really keeping up with food, you're just eating blindly.
I was. Right now, I haven't really started my new meal plan.
Getting ready.
I'm gonna get it here soon.
Have you checked your blood work? I mean, as far as my vitamins,
I got all that stuff scheduled coming up.
Oh, good,
So,
good. I am a blood work freak.
Yeah.
Even if you're drug tested, if you're completely natural, or if you're at the very peak of WPO world, I don't care. I think it's
Yeah.
a good deal.
Since it just happened, since the meet just happened, give
Yeah.
my body a little time to kind of calm down, and then I'll do a little.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks and then go do it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting just to see where everything is, especially your inflammation markers.
I definitely feel good right now, though. Near the end of the prep, I could feel kind of the blood pressure kind of creeping up a little bit, but
Yeah.
now that things have come back down a little bit, it's everything's feeling good.
Well, your color is freaking great. You don't look like you're blowed up. Of course, you trained today, but I can still tell that you're
Really
still
trying to
strong.
push the food lately. That's the biggest thing. My body wants to stay where it's at. You have to really, even when I was still doing bodybuilding, I really have to push food to gain weight.
Red meat and rice.
Yes.
It's
I respond really well to dairy. So if I start drinking whole milk, that's when I start really packing on muscle.
That's awesome.
So
I love that.
luckily my body accepts dairy. Not everybody's that way. My son used to have a dairy allergy, so not everybody's got the luxury of being able to use dairy.
That's right. My body doesn't grow well on it, but I like it. It doesn't bother me as far as digesting goes.
Such an easy thing. You have your normal like steak and rice, and then you have a whole milk glass right there, and it really expedites my growth.
I even went to the point to where I went unpasteurized whole milk.
Yeah.
And just raw milk. And oh man, now my body likes that. Now I did that after the fact, so I mean, I don't know if I grow well with it or not.
Yeah.
But it tastes better, everything about it makes me feel better. I love that stuff. So, okay, I got 3 questions I want to ask you, and these are all really the same question. But if we have 3 lifters come in today, a brand new one, an intermediate one, and somebody that's extra level, let's get some just off the cuff advice for a brand new lifter. They're just coming in. They've maybe done 1 meet, but they're excited and they're for real. What's the one thing that you would give them if they wanted to someday achieve an all-time?
I think you need a crew.
What we were just talking about.
You need a crew.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Get you a group of friends that share that passion with you. Because your support system is your everything. You need someone that you can call upon and say, hey, I'm doing a big squat today. You guys got my back. And they're there for you, cheering you on and spotting you. That's the number one thing I say is your
And they want to see you do better than them.
Yeah, especially if that crew has guys in the same weight class, around the same strength, they feed off of that strength. The competitiveness, that really pushes progress.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Just grab a group of guys and let's go. If I had to add something to that, I'd probably say slow down. You've been going a long time. Before I set my all-time, it's a long time. It doesn't, and I'm not talking a couple of years. I mean, we were years into it before we got to it. So
1 to 3% each prep.
that's an awesome goal.
It's very easily attainable, and it's well within the pocket of progression that most people can achieve.
You're not going to get hurt. Yeah, you got to stay safe. That's awesome. Well, what about a mediocre? I mean, not a mediocre. A middle of the line guy. He's been lifting a couple of years. He knows what's going on. Maybe he's got the ability to do it all the time and be great. Maybe he don't, but he wants to jump up to that level.
There's a few people that fall into this category that I currently coach and know, and I would say humility. Always being humble around the weights. Because it's easy to when you see like an RP 7 or 8 on there, or you say, oh, well, that was a 7 or an 8. It's like, no, that was more like a 9. Be honest with yourself.
For sure.
Not every time are you supposed to push that to the 10. Do it set your body up to make it happen when it counts.
Exactly.
You're not doing anything. You have nothing to prove to the internet. You have nothing to prove to Instagram. You have none of that stuff to prove. What you got to be able to do is stay within the training plan and make sure that you're 100% on the day that it actually matters.
That's right. Yeah.
It's that timing. So when you're in that
Nobody cares.
you're in that intermediate stage, it's like you're just below being advanced, right?
Yeah.
But your body, you're ready to be advanced. So that you think you're ready for PRs left and right. So I would say that's probably the advice I give to those people.
I'm one of those guys that I like to see PRs on the platform.
Yes.
What you can do in the gym, I don't care what you can deadlift in the gym. I want to see what you can deadlift after you PR'd on squat, after you PR'd on bench press, and now it's time to show out. Where are you at now? And you can only do that on the platform.
You won't see an RP 10 on any of my plans.
That's awesome.
When you
Wouldn't
come
mind.
to, because I just had one person send me their update for their prep. They're 4 weeks out. They just matched their max, but did it for about a 7-8. So what their old max was is now looking like an over. So that's ultimately what I kind of look for as a coach. Is like, I want what used to be something that was this big mountain to climb. It's just another weight now.
That's right.
And then we'll see on meet day what we need to call after that.
Now, to me, this is the hardest one. What about some pro duties, Ben? What if you were coaching you? You're a great lifter, a very talented young man. If you had somebody like that, what would you tell them without having to go in and physically train them? What kind of advice would you give them to jump into that spot where they can attack an all-time world record?
Patience. Patience is the biggest thing with it.
Stay safe.
Yeah. You gotta keep yourself healthy. You gotta avoid the speed bumps, the hiccups. Because the more times you get that, the further you get pulled away from that goal.
Oh yeah, toward anything.
This last prep,
Yeah.
I had no problems. I had no hiccups, no speed bumps.
You look good all freaking prep.
It was very seamless. Every week, everything went according to plan. I mean, there's execution things one week where, but as far as the strength and the preparedness for the meet, it was there every week, exactly as I originally planned for it.
I don't know that I ever had a prep like that.
It's very rare, and when it happens, you gotta take advantage of it. People are like, oh, why'd you decide to break the world record at your own gym? It's because it was there. Plain and simple. Like,
I'm not going to do it next
hey, you know
time.
what? I'm gonna take 1 pound less than that world record because it's at my gym. No, I peaked and I'm ready. Put the weight on the bar. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know?
I 100% agree with you. I've done some of my best lifts. Now I didn't set my all time in my gym.
Yeah.
But like you said though, it was time.
When it's there. Get it. So that's my answer to anybody that ever asks me, why did you decide to break it at your gym? Because it was there. Because the peak, the process of the entire preparation for the meet was flawless.
Now Tyler, does that mean that you don't think you could go out there this afternoon and do that again?
Tell you, 2 reps felt really heavy last week.
You know, even when I set my all time, the next prep through, I missed it the next prep through. It just didn't follow. That's pretty wise what you're saying, because my next prep sucked after that.
There were some people that asked me before I even attempted it, they were like, is it really set in that you're about to break history? It's like I'll show up and give it my best, you know, like, I don't ever have any like preconceived, like, this is gonna happen kind of thing. Because I always respect the weight. I never know, I could slip on a freaking ice cube in the kitchen the day before the meet. You never know, you don't want to jinx yourself. You know, I show up, and if it's there, it's there.
I know a lot. I'm really blessed. Lord's took good care of me because I get to have these kind of conversations with men like yourself all over the place. And I can tell you the day that I did mine, and I already know about you and everybody else, there's one key factor with all of us. We weren't afraid that day. I had no fear that day. I couldn't have gotten hurt. I missed my first attempt, my opener. Or no, I got my opener, I missed my second. I went right to the all time, messed it up on the descent. And came up, I got a picture of myself smiling. I know I did, I just got this. Boom! You know, and there's no fear.
That is a very, very strong point. There's no place for fear in this sport.
There's not.
You can't be scared of what your body could possibly do or not do.
I never even gave it any. Did you even consider the fact that you're not breaking something? I never even thought about that. I mean,
Just locked in, you know, just locked in, focused on the things I needed to focus on. As one of my coaches used to tell me, keep the main thing the main thing.
Dawn now, on the other hand, she knew I was going to break it any second.
Everybody in that room knew I was going to do it, but all I knew was that I'm going to take this big breath, get a good brace, and take it to depth, take it to standards, and stand up with it.
You know, that's something I want to address, just touch on before we close this up, is everybody thinks, hey, well, he should have dunked that, he should have dunked that, he should have dunked that. Bull crap.
It's not CrossFit.
That's right. If we're really setting true all-time records, then we're just nicking it. Boy, I just barely want it legal. Because I want to increase my odds of getting up with it as much as freaking possible. So the rules say a centimeter deep. If I break parallel and I'm a centimeter deep, out of there I come.
Correct.
You know?
And that's why I kind of touched on the first point when I was telling you about my track and field history.
Yeah.
Long jump is very much like that. You want to get every bit of the board.
All of it. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So having that precision and being able to nail depth right on the head, nothing more, nothing less, and get the judges to give you that okay, that's true skill. And it's a fine line. It's a fine line. It's a dangerous game to play because you very well could stand up with it and have 2 red lights.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to play that game. I'm willing to take that gamble because I'd rather do it the right way. I would rather do it in the way that I can produce the most strength and the most power and to keep myself the safest versus just completely bottoming out and trying to sit my ass all the way on the floor and end up just ripping every tendon and ligament I have.
During Jesse Rogers, he was head judge when I did mine. And he liked to have little judges meetings before he started. Kind of got rid of some of the BS in it, but he was over there talking to his judges, which I know both of them. I consider them both friends now. But I put my arms around them and I told them, I said, guys, listen. I said, everybody knows why I'm here today. And I said, I think we'll have to do that. But I said, now listen, we get online later. And I see a high squat and y'all call it good. I'm gonna be pissed and I'm gonna embarrass everybody. You know, I mean, I don't want you to force me to the ground, but I want good clean, you know, and I don't know about you, but I don't worry.
No, you
I
never
completely
do.
go blind. I don't.
You never do. All you can do is kind of like feel kind of where your body's at in
Yeah.
space. Then you can kind of feel that hamstring touch on your calf a little bit. You can kind of feel that like those knees shift just a little bit extra right at the end. And you can know that like that's helping that crease drop. But you don't really know.
No, Kyle Hamilton, which he was my right hand for years, but he called me that day. He called my dad, and I just told him, I said, I don't care what this costs me. I'm not coming up until you set up. And believe it or not, I still don't remember. You can see he says up, and I look.
It's like right away.
Yeah, but I don't remember. I'm gonna lie, I don't remember any of it. I was in a complete black hole, just. You know.
Yeah, you go into tunnel vision mode when it comes to that kind of weight.
Yeah.
That's keeping the main thing the main thing.
It used to freak me out in the beginning, but after a while, it kind of made me happy. I knew when it started getting dark, when the circle started closing in, that I'm right here. I'm right here. Just enjoy it. Let's just go. Keep going. Keep going.
There's nothing more in the moment than under a heavy squat like that.
It's different. It's a different beast. And every time we do one of these, I think to myself, maybe if I put my grease back on, man, I had a good time. I enjoyed this.
Me too.
When you set the next one at the next weight class, I'll come back and we'll do this again.
For sure. Look forward to it.
I do too. Guys, it's time for us to get back on the road. We'll see you guys next time.